Level 1. The Chosen Child. You are 6 years old, and you have just been sold. Not to a farmer, not to a merchant, to a village hidden in the mountains of Iga, a place that does not appear on any map. Your parents needed the money. The village needed a child young enough to break and rebuild. You were both. You do not know it yet, but you will never have a normal life. You will never marry for love. You will never grow old in peace. You are not being raised to live. You are being raised to become a weapon that walks and breathes and disappears. They have a word for what you will become. Shinobi, a shadow, and shadows do not get to choose. Level 2. The Body Broken. You are 8. Your day begins before the sun. You run up the mountain with stones tied to your legs. You climb sheer rock walls until your fingers bleed, then you climb them again. You learn to fall from great heights and roll so your bones do not shatter. They teach you to hold your breath underwater longer than seems possible, breathing through a hollow reed while you lie beneath the surface for an hour, waiting. You learn to walk without sound. An older shinobi spreads dry leaves across the floor, and you must cross the room without a single crackle. The first 100 times, you fail. He strikes you each time. By the 1,000th time, you are silent as smoke. Pain is just information now. You have stopped crying. Crying makes noise, and noise gets you killed. Level 3. The Hidden Blade. You are 12. Now they teach you the tools, not the fantasy weapons of legend, but the real ones. The kusarigama, a sickle chained to an iron weight. The shuko, iron claws strapped to your hands for climbing walls and tearing flesh. Blinding powder to throw in a man's eyes. Poison for his tea. You learn the katana, yes, but you learn something more important. You learn that a real shinobi avoids the fight. A sword is what you use when everything else has already failed. Your true weapons are patience, disguise, and the dark. You learn to pick locks in total blackness. You learn which plants heal and which ones stop a heart in minutes. You learn to make fire and to make it vanish. You are no longer a child. You are a tool that has almost finished being made. Level 4. The 100 Faces. You are 15. The deadliest skill is not killing, it is becoming invisible in plain sight. So they teach you the 7 disguises. You learn to walk as a wandering monk, begging bowl in hand, welcomed into any home. You learn to pose as a traveling merchant, a street performer, a farmer, a wandering musician. Each one opens a door that a warrior could never walk through. You practice voices. You practice the way an old man's spine bends, the way a servant lowers his eyes, the way a priest folds his hands. You study how people move when they think no one is watching. You can enter a lord's castle as a gardener and leave as a ghost. No one remembers your face because you never really had one to begin with. Level 5. The First Mission. You are 17. They send you out for the first time, not to kill, to watch. A rival lord is planning something, and your village has been paid to find out what. You enter his territory as a lowly rice porter, bent under a heavy sack, invisible to every guard you pass. For 3 weeks you carry rice, empty chamber pots, and say nothing. You listen. You count the soldiers. You map every gate, every guard rotation, every weakness in the walls. You memorize it all, because a shinobi never writes anything down that an enemy could find. Then, one night, you simply walk out of the servant's gate and vanish into the trees. You deliver your report. Your master nods once. It is the closest thing to praise you will ever receive. You survived. Most do not survive their first mission. Level 6. The Silent Kill. You are 20. Now comes the part they raised you for. A daimyo has paid your village a fortune. A rival commander must die, quietly, in a way that looks like illness or accident. If it looks like murder, war begins. Your job is to make sure it does not. You spend a month becoming a kitchen servant in his fortress. You learn his routine, when he eats, when he sleeps, which cup is his. You do not stab him. That is amateur work. You use a slow poison, a few grains at a time, mixed into his evening tea over many days. The physicians call it a wasting sickness. By the time he dies, you are already gone, 100 miles away, wearing a different face. No one suspects the quiet kitchen boy who left weeks before. You feel nothing. They trained the feeling out of you years ago. Level 7. The Ghost Army. You are 25. Your reputation grows, but not your name. No one knows your name. They only know that things happen, and no one can explain how. A castle thought to be impossible to breach falls in a single night, its gates open from the inside. A general dies in a locked room with no wounds. An army marches to a battlefield only to find the enemy already knew they were coming. This is the real power of the shinobi, not swords. Information and fear. Warlords begin to believe their walls are useless, that their food is poisoned, that their most trusted servant might be one of you. That fear does more damage than any army. You are one shadow among many now, part of an invisible web that stretches across the whole country. You have become the thing that keeps kings awake at night. Level 8. The betrayal. You are 30. You have served your village faithfully your entire life. You have given it everything, and now you learn the truth that every shinobi learns eventually. You are expendable. A mission goes wrong. A powerful lord discovers he was infiltrated, and he demands the head of the spy responsible. Your village, to keep the peace and keep being paid, agrees to give someone up. It does not have to be the right someone, it just has to be someone. You realize they are deciding whether that someone is you. The same masters who raised you, who broke your body and rebuilt it, are weighing your life against a bag of silver. For the first time since you were a child, you feel it again. Fear, and underneath it, something worse. Betrayal. You gave them your whole life, and to them you were always just a tool to be discarded. Level 9. The Masterless Shadow. You are 35. You ran. A shinobi is never supposed to run, but you did. Now you are what your masters fear most. A shadow with no village, no master, no leash. You know every secret, every technique, every hidden path, and you belong to no one. You sell your skills to whoever pays. A merchant who needs a rival watched. A lord who needs a letter stolen. You are a ghost for hire, drifting from job to job, sleeping in a different place every night, trusting no one, because you of all people know exactly what people are willing to do for silver. You have everything they trained you to be: complete freedom, total mastery, and utter emptiness. You realize you were never taught how to live, only how to survive. And now there is nothing left to survive for. Level 10. The shadow fades. You are 40, and that is ancient for a shinobi. Your body, the weapon they spent a fortune building, is finally failing. Your joints ache from 1,000 falls. Your eyes are not what they were. The reflexes that kept you alive are half a second too slow now. And in your world, half a second is everything. You know how this ends. Not in a glorious battle, not with your name in a song. Shinobi do not get songs. You will die in the dark, quietly, the same way you did everything else. Maybe a younger shadow, sent by a master you once served, will find you. Maybe your own body will simply give out in some roadside inn under a false name. When the histories are written, they will barely mention you. They will write about the samurai and their honor, the daimyo and their castles, the great battles fought in the open where everyone could see. They will not write about the shadows who decided those battles before they began. The children bought and broken, the faces that were never real, the lives spent in silence so that other men could win. You were never meant to be remembered. That was the whole point. A shinobi who is remembered has already failed. You spent your entire life becoming nothing, invisible, silent, a shadow that touched history and left no fingerprint. And now, at last, the shadow simply fades. And now, you are history, the history no one will ever read.